As many of us who are past our 20s can remember, there was once a time in our country when people who ran for public office was expected to possess certain attributes that would clearly demonstrate their qualification to hold said office. Among other things, these attributes included maturity, wisdom, intelligence, humility, a love for truth, an ability to maintain the proper decorum of the office, personal integrity, and an understanding that their service within the office was to be primarily for the benefit of the people, not themselves. Sadly, those days have seemingly passed as it has become apparent that more and more virtue signaling has replaced many of these important virtues within modern day political candidates. With that said, let me introduce you to 2026 Democratic candidate Shelby Campbell, a woman who is running for Congress to represent Michigan's 13th district. Now, according to her profile in Influential Women, she is committed to disrupting systems built on racism, exploitation, and control, and rebuilding them to prioritize people over corporations. Her campaign focuses on civil rights, labor protections, cannabis justice, free and decolonized education, accessible healthcare, sustainable food systems, and public transportation, reflecting her deep commitment to equity, dignity, and community empowerment. The typical communist, socialist, liberal virtue signaling mantra. So, with that said, let's take a quick look at a couple of videos she's posted to her Shelby for Congress TikTok account.
I am a cunt. Great. But would you know a clit if you saw one?
Now, to anyone who is a rational person, watching this would simply seem unbelievable, as who would think that a person running for Congress would present themselves in this manner? Yet, completely crazy as it seems, this is actually something this candidate posted. To see how low the bar has dropped within our modern day politics, that someone like this would even consider running for political office should cause great concern within voters. After all, if our society is devolved to where someone would feel that they could openly and proudly promote their absolute lack of mature character and dignity when running for political office, then our country is in a world of hurt. Now, although District 13 is a strongly liberal district in Michigan, any rational person would still think that someone like this should find it difficult to succeed in a congressional election campaign. However, when we look at similar types of liberal representation that have already been voted in within many Democratic states, cities, and even within our United States Senate and Congress, one simply would not be crazy to think that perhaps despite her complete lack of decorum, she could actually win and become a member of Congress. We live in a time when it is the corruption of our own politicians who are the greatest force working against our country. And that is because we are voting in people who really lack the substance of that which defines a leader who puts the good of our country first. We cannot continue to vote into office those who openly demonstrate so great an immaturity and lack of character. If we are to survive as this great nation, we need to return to upholding the standard of maturity, dignity, professionalism, honesty, and decorum in those who run for political office. Yet for this to happen, it means that voters themselves must put aside the practice of casting votes based solely upon the emotionally based reactions they feel from the ideological virtue signaling that is oftentimes used as a means to manipulate people. And they need to learn to cast their votes from the application of basic logic and common sense. Using this candidate's video as an example, how simple should it be for basic logic and common sense to reveal that someone who would post such a thing as what we just watched simply does not possess the attributes we should expect from those in public office? So, let me know your thoughts about this, because in my mind, regardless of which side of the political aisle one may be on, Those we vote into office should at the very least be able to be trusted to conduct themselves within the level of true reverence they should have for the office. Well, that's it for me today. As usual, I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share the video if you enjoyed the content. God bless you and yours always. Until next time.